now. All right. So joining me now, Al LaFleur, Phil Dunn, the lead actor and director of Fire Lily, a new short film that just wrapped up production up in Cleveland. Thanks both for being here.
Oh, thank you for having us. This is
Yeah, I
very
really appreciate
exciting.
you having us, man. I appreciate you.
Of course, so for anyone who doesn't know, kind of explain what Fire Lily is, kind of the plot, obviously without spoiling anything, and kind of the vision behind it.
Well, Fire Lily has been an extraordinary project, and it's come together over the last few years. And I wrote it. It's about a black dancer walking home who gets wrongfully detained. And just as the story kind of goes, as you might think it might do in these kind of circumstances that we've heard so many times, so many versions of that story, something different happens, something extraordinary happens, and we have this kind of sort of surrealist break in the story where kind of there's a sort of stepping in from the universe of speaking through dance and poetry
Mm.
and powerful music. So yeah, it's quite an unusual story, but it's trying to look for hope amidst all of the stuff that's going on in the world right now. Many of the issues that are flying around that we're all getting caught up in, that are getting us all down. And it's a story that sort of tries to look at things from a different point of view and see some hope.
Mm.
Awesome. Al, tell me a little about your character. You play the policeman, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So I played Polly, who was a policeman in the situation that Phil was just describing. And you hope as an actor, the characters that you step into, the characters that are written, the director that you're collaborating with has brought as complex and layered of a character, human soul to the page. And then it's your job to bring it to screen. And Phil did that. Yeah, he just had layers and layers, and then I brought layers. But it's I think the best way without giving away too much. Yeah, it kind of seems on the surface. He's a cop who is kind of at a difficult place in his career and his life, and like a lot of cops, it's not an easy job, and comes up against something. And then the beautiful part about this film is, as the experiencer, as the actor, hopefully as the viewer, you kind of think it's going to be one thing, and it opens up to be so much more than that. Yeah.
And Phil, how did you come about writing this? You said you were behind the screenplay for it. Kind of what was your inspiration for it? What led to all of this?
Yeah, well, it was really that extraordinary time at the end of the pandemic where George Floyd had just been killed, and there at the same time the pandemic was still raging around the world, and also there were wildfires in the Amazon rainforest and in California and in Australia. It was just a crazy time. I mean, we're going through a crazy time again now, but it was just all these things happening at once. And for me, it kind of like those. I just had just after George Floyd's murder, I was so struck by that. One man being held to the ground by another who should have been protecting and serving him, but actually ended up taking his life. And then at the same time, people around, and he was saying, I can't breathe. At the same time, people around the world in the pandemic struggling to breathe as well, with wearing masks, and then those who got it badly were in hospital dying because they couldn't breathe. And then at the same time, the Amazon rainforest, were known as the lungs of the planet, were burning. And it was like, well, if we don't get oxygen, none of us will be able to breathe. And it just felt like from one man to all of humankind to the planet itself, there was this fight for breath. And that just struck me. It was like a lightning rod moment. And I just, in the day after George Floyd's death, I just started. I write poetry. I'm a poet as well as a screenwriter and director. And I just started furiously writing this poem, and it just came through me. And then sort of sat with that for a year or two, and just like I don't know what that was about. But as my last film, which is called The Stupid Boy, it was Oscar qualified and BAFTA qualified, so we were doing a lot of campaigning with that. And as I went to a bunch of festivals, I started meeting some amazing people, and it just started to form. And I just thought maybe I could do a film with that poem, and it's quite unusual, but could I make that work? Could we is there a narrative that goes? And then very slowly started to build this narrative around this central poem, and then find this character of this police officer, who's in the midst of all of that, in the backdrop of a pandemic, of wildfires in the Amazon, of the race, the tensions in America and across the world, systemic racism and police brutality, all of that. And what does it feel like for a police officer in the middle of that? And what does it feel like for a black man walking home? What does it feel like for a woman walking home who happens to be, to feel like she's being followed by the black guy? It just gave us a way to get in amongst all of that stuff and to feel the human condition in the middle of it. It's been a fascinating thing, bringing it all together, and now to finally have actually come to Cleveland. I mean, I'm from the UK, so this was an extraordinary thing to end up doing over here, and then to bring it into reality and to have seen it actually happen in front of us on the streets of Cleveland and out in the countryside outside of Cleveland. It's been a trip. So yeah, I'm very excited.
And Al, how did you get involved with this project? Especially something that was shot in Cleveland, not too far from where you grew up.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is one of those full circle moments that I'm above everything else super grateful for. But yeah, I've been in LA for 11 years. For those that don't know, I know you had me on before, but I went to Ohio State. I was raised in North Canton, Ohio. I am painfully still a Browns fan and happily an Ohio State fan. So I bleed Ohio. I love the Midwest. I love the fall. I got a whole bunch of family here. And the casting director that booked me on my first ever SAG job 11 years ago, Lillian Piles, shout out. She's a staple in Ohio for the entire film community, man. She's literally changed people's lives, including mine. Yeah. And 11 years ago, she booked me on my first SAG role. I think I told Tyler about it, and he helped me sharing some excitement through the grapevine. And, I had one line in a Lifetime movie, and I've stayed in touch with her. I've been auditioning in Los Angeles, making my way, earning credits, doing the thing that actors do when you're trying to sustain a career and keep at it. And she reached out to me. She said, hey, there's a short film in Ohio that's shooting. They're looking for a lead role. It's Paulie. It's a cop. I think you'd be right for it. You put yourself on tape. I did. Initially, as an actor, you get very little. Sometimes you get like one page of the script, or you get two sentences from the director, and the rest you got to kind of run with. But I did it. I felt good about it, and I let it go. And then often as an actor, your mechanism for survival is, hey, I did it and I got to forget about it. I'm on to the next thing. But my phone rang from Lillian, and I knew I was up for it for about 3 or 4 weeks. I was up, and that's kind of how casting is. They're trying to finalize a lot of things. So I knew I had a shot. But when she called do me in California, it was one of those moments that seemed like I was living in a movie. She gave me tears. I was like, I'm so grateful to be working with these people, and I'm grateful that we still know each other. And she's like, hey, yeah, but you did the work, and this is meant to be. So I'm super happy to have come to the project, and then to be able to work with a world-class team in the streets of Cleveland. It is truly one of those full circle dream moments. Man,
yeah, that's been one of the great things about the project, is this sense of synchronicity, and kind of throughout we've had this sense of like these things just meant to be. And Al was definitely one of them. The casting for Al, the fact that he is from Cleveland originally, and his tape stood out so much, and he just seemed to just get Paulie, the character, and brought it to us. And through Lillian, who I've only met through our connections here, because the Joyce Allen is our producer, and she's absolutely amazing here in Cleveland, alongside Terry Godley, who's our producer back in the UK. It's been this international collaboration, and worked with WIFT, Women in Film and Television Ohio. They've helped bring everything together at this end, and that's been absolutely amazing. So we've ended up with a majority female crew, which has been incredible. And then working with Lillian, who is a legend around here, and such a pleasure to meet. And then for that personal connection back to Al, and then for Al to be right for the part, and then him to come and back home to be able to make this film. And we, the part of the rest of the international is that we have the most Oscar qualified, most Oscar decorated producer in the world on the team as well. He's called Kim Magnuson. He's won 2 Oscars. He's been nominated 7 times. He's been up for he's been an exec producer on many other nominees as well. And he's been along for the ride with this film from the beginning, which has been amazing because usually he doesn't get involved with films until later in their process. But he saw something in this film, the same as Alicia Dixon, who's our executive producer. She saw something in this film, and she's a huge name in the UK. She also was an America's Got Talent judge. And there's just been this thing where people have got connected into this film from all these different places, but have felt really strongly that it had to be made and to be made well. And to end up with such a high caliber actor like Al to deliver that role, which is such a key one, where the real anchor of the acting needed to be for the part for the story, was just brilliant. And to bring him home and to let him see a Browns game whilst he's waiting to get to set was great.
Gotcha. And you mentioned Kim Magnuson, your executive producer Alicia. Kind of brings me to my next question. What was it like working with such a accomplished, stacked group, who has done so much in especially the short film industry, if you will?
Well, it's been amazing, and I think just to be. I mean, my last film, The Stupid Boy, was amazing how it found its way out into the world and ended up being seen by hundreds of thousands of people in cinemas on its festival run. And we were so excited, obviously, that it got, we had no big name attached. We had no studios behind us, no big money, nothing. We just made a film well with a lot of passion that we really believed in. And we've taken that same formula to this. But what's happened here is we've ended up with these big hitters getting really interested in what we're doing, because we're doing something with real heart and with real passion, and also, with real skill. I've been working in film for 20 years and building up all my skills from being a one-man band with a camera when I was just fresh out of college. So it's been amazing, and to have had already at this stage to have we had the announcement of Al's casting in the Hollywood Reporter being reported because there's enough interest now in this film already, and that is unprecedented for a short film. You don't get that, and that plays to this feeling with this film that there's something more than just a short film. We talked about that in our pitch, that it's actually, we want this to be a cinematic event, even though it's 15 minutes long. There's no reason why, and actually often short films can have way more impact than even a 2-hour blockbuster film. And we want this to be like the stone that fells Goliath, something that really, the small thing, but they can do a huge amount through it, doing it well. And to have the backing of Alicia, who's a global star, and who just when we had an initial meeting with her, she had tears in her eyes and was just like, "There's something about this. I really want to be involved, and this has to be made. It feels like it just needs to be in the world, this film." And we believe that it's time for it more than ever. It makes such a difference having that backing.
Here. And mentioned the Hollywood Reporter article, and even before that, I've known Al for my entire life, and I don't think I've ever seen him so excited about a project. Al, what was it like, getting to have this moment be in this film? Have a Hollywood Reporter article about you starring in it. What was that entire experience like?
Oh man, yeah. So those that don't know me, like Tyler, I'm an emotional guy. All right, they're definitely there. So that makes acting sometimes easier, but real life hard. And when this experience happened, man, yeah, I just a wave of emotions. Gratitude, of course, and then just persistence. But above everything else, there was this sense of I've known for quite a while internally that this is my path, being an artist, being an actor, and you don't know what's going to come. But when you come up against something like this, I mean, it truly steps you outside of time almost. And the biggest thing that I just kept tethering myself to is what Phil is bringing up and what me and him had conversations about. But it's beyond us. there's something here beyond us, and what a privilege that while I'm alive, I can be a part of telling a really important story. Yeah, so I just a whole lot of gratitude, a whole lot of hanging on to momentum. A little bit of the post show blues. You know, we just wrapped a day ago now, and I got best friends in the UK and new ones in Cleveland, and going back to LA. So that part's always hard, but we're gonna have a beautiful run, I think, with this film and remain it.
You know, last question for each of you. You know, where does your excitement level now stand with the, you know, being in post production, waiting for it to be released, and, you know, waiting to showcase, you know, your art to so many, you know, thousands of people, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, what's been amazing is we did 4 nights through the night and 1 long day yesterday, just wrapped to the end of yesterday. And there were many times where I was looking at the monitor with tears in my eyes. Genuinely, I'm quite an emotional person too, but Al and I really connect on that. We're very, very similar in a lot of ways. But I was really blown away by what we ended up capturing, like beyond my expectations. I storyboarded the whole thing. I drew out every frame, and to then see those frames come to life in front of me and in even more vivid and incredible ways than I'd expected was so moving. And then to go into the edit and to pull that together now, I'm just so excited to really get in amongst that incredible footage. We had an amazing DOP on this from Cleveland, so I couldn't bring my DOP from the UK with me for various reasons. It just didn't work out. So we ended up last minute having to find a DOP here, and I am so grateful. We worked with Rashad Polk, and he is absolutely incredible and just stepped up and delivered, like painting with light every step of the way. So to take that into the edit, I'm like, I can't wait. And yeah, we're aiming for a finished product by the end of February, where we will then, according Kim, our producer, he's saying that we should aim to submit it to Cannes Film Festival, ideally for a premiere. So we're doing that. If he says so, then we do it. He's the one with the Oscars. So yeah, we're aiming for that end of February, early March, and then looking forward to be able to share it here back in Ohio and Cleveland. Lots of screenings here as well. And that's one of the other things we've done is work with the local community here a lot. We did a 6-week program this summer with 9 student interns from YOU, giving them 6 weeks of free teaching on filmmaking. That was the cast and crew of Fire Lily, as well as Women in Film and Television Ohio, who are helming it here, and Tender Hearts Crusades, who are also our charity non-profit partners here. And so we're really connected into the community here. I also have connected it back into the community in the UK as well. So really looking forward to being able to share this story back with those communities, with those particularly young people, and to see, you know, how that can inspire and elevate those communities and enrich them to be able to tell their own stories and to bring their own voices to the conversation. So there's just so many parts of this film that are just so exciting, and yeah, having such a great product now to go into the edit to fashion into something even better. Wow, what a privilege. So yeah, very excited.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Even on the actor side, just to be a part of it and know that we got something beautiful in the can, it's definitely out of my hands now. So happy editing, buddy.
We'll make you look good, Al. We'll make you look good. It's not difficult, to be fair.
I did before, but I certainly do now, man. Yeah. I can't wait for you to see it, Tyler.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your time. We really appreciate the insight and can't wait to see the premiere.
Awesome. Tyler, thank you so much for taking the time, bro. Great to be on. Ohio, we love you.
Thank you for having us.